Are you voting for or against?
Well, I voted against the pay package mostly because I feel like it's a continuation of the disaster of the board of directors of Tesla's created by doing the pay package wrong the first time and just trying to re-ratify the same thing. I think is just creating a lot more issues and problems than if they would have just done a new pay package and done this correctly the first time. So, at this point, paying Elon $50 billion when you've seen the performance of the company falter since its purchase of Twitter, and he's made really no effort to sell vehicles and a huge effort just to get his $50 billion, it really is the wrong message to send to shareholders, corporate governance. Basically, this is a case study in how boards of directors can be so horrible.
So horrible. Max, your take and returns. I want to go to Max Chafkin here on the fact that the share price is still a lot higher than it was perhaps back in 2018. It has come down from its heady heights of 2021 when it's eclipsing more than $400. But your perspective here on him being distracted as Ross talks to.
Yeah, I think we're looking at a close vote here because on one hand, you have historically Elon Musk has been able to basically get anything he wants from Tesla's investors. And there has been this feeling among investors and especially among the board, which of course includes a lot of Elon Musk friends, loyalists, even his brother, that he can basically do whatever he wants is good for Tesla. On the other hand, he has not performed well by any normal metric as CEO over the last year or so. The stock is down. There are all these distractions. The Wall Street Journal story today is just the latest example, right? It's just been a series of kind of misfires, difficulties with poor stock performance. And at the same time, Musk is asking for $56 billion. Now, of course, he'll say, well, this is an older pay package. You look at the 5-year trajectory, it's great. But again, not every investor is going to be swayed by that.
Yeah, to be fair, went from a price of about 20 in 2018, Ross, all the way up to nearly 400 in 2021. I'm interested, therefore, in your view of him as a leader right here, right now. He says, look, if you don't give me more control of the company of Tesla, if you don't give me this money, I might walk. I might do more AI stuff over at XAI. Would that worry you?
Well, I think he's already done that, in fact. So that's why the performance of Tesla has been so poor since he purchased Twitter, is because he's not working at Tesla. He's been we consider him the pigeon CEO now, flies in, kind of craps on everybody, flies out. And, it's just not running the company compared to 2018 when he was sleeping there and working 24/7 to build this wonderful company. So, I benefited greatly from the success of Tesla, but I also took enormous risk investing with Elon over the last 10 years. And many thought the company was going to go bankrupt 5 years ago, and I supported him through all this. And so the fact that I benefited greatly as a shareholder was a byproduct of the risk I was willing to take on Elon, and that it paid off. It was great, but that doesn't change where we are today. And that's the issue, is what's going to happen to Tesla over the next 5 years. Cathie Wood's obviously wildly optimistic, but if he leaves the company because he doesn't get what he wants, well, where's Tesla going to be in 5 years, right? So the fact that he has so much money, he's got 80, 90, $100 billion in net worth in Tesla, but yet that's not incentive enough to work at Tesla. I mean, he made over $90 billion just in gains from the stock he owned already. So it's not like he hasn't benefited greatly from Tesla's success. And so this is why this whole thing is outrageous and ultimately going to cost shareholders $25 billion of tax that we'll have to pay for when he gets this award, if he gets it, because that's the taxable consequence that shareholders are going to have to pay. So this is a tough situation for shareholders.
Interesting context there. Max, the shareholders you speak to, the way in which you do your reporting for Elon Inc., I mean, you said it's going to be a close call here. Have we heard from some of the big institutions as to whether they support him, and why would they support him?
Yeah, broadly speaking, there are some exceptions to this, but you have a lot of institutional investors who are opposed to the pay package, and then you have a lot of retail investors. Basically, many of these people are just, Tesla enthusiasts, people who really care about the brand and really care about Elon Musk, and they are by and large supporting Elon Musk, at least to talk about our reporting and what Elon Musk himself is saying. Take that with a grain of salt. So you have those two things kind of in tension, and the question is who shows up to vote and how many of them are there? Tesla has been campaigning really, really hard over the last couple of weeks. We talked about on the podcast. You have videos. There's a video of Optimus, the Tesla robot, talking to people, saying, "Oh, you should, vote your shares." And as we said on the podcast that dropped yesterday, they've been calling Tesla employees. You've seen a lot of former Tesla employees show up on Twitter in support of this. So there's a lot of activity. It's almost like a political campaign.
Yes.
Weigh in here, Ross.
No, I mean, I've gotten calls and emails and all kinds of ads, and I was like so insulted that after a year of saying that Tesla needs PR and Tesla needs ads to sell Model Ys and sales going down and down and down, then they pull out all the stops for Elon's pay. They have a PR team actually working. I can't even tell you how obnoxious it is that this is about his pay, the richest man in the world, while the company's languishing and can't sell Model Ys to save their lives, and they're discounting them left and right, and they won't run an ad. So I think this has become like a referendum on Elon, and it really shouldn't have been. And this is really just a horrible situation for Tesla shareholders.
Ross, can I dig in on the PR team working double time? Because they are surely working double time today. And there is this Wall Street Journal report, which we cited earlier in the show, where Elon Musk is being accused of having pursued women working over at SpaceX. This is Wall Street Journal reporting. But does this affect you as a shareholder of Tesla in your viewpoint of him as a leader?
I don't think he's pursuing women. I think, I don't know what he really does, but I wish he was spending more time with women, to be honest. I think that would help him greatly if it was in a positive way. But I don't see him as that type of person. I think he's very, very focused on his goals, which is getting off Earth, replacing the human race with robots, and living on Mars by himself. So I don't know. But I don't take these kind of claims, personal claims, as valid unless they're actual, proof of this stuff.
Okay, so questioning some of the reporting there, Ross, I'm interested, Max, in ultimately where we go after this vote. Because if it's a referendum on Elon Musk himself and it doesn't go his way, well, it doesn't actually or even if it does go away, it doesn't actually affect whether or not the money goes to him. It's still all about a judge, right? Yeah,
we talked about this earlier this week. This is not a binding vote. It also doesn't have any legal consequences. Tesla's hope here is that the vote is overwhelmingly in support. They take it back to the Delaware courts, and this is part of their appeal. And that is the plan, kind of a novel legal strategy to save this pay package so they don't have to renegotiate it. I think that the challenge here, and what will be really difficult for shareholders, probably Tesla employees as well, is if the vote does not go his way, where does it go? Because we know from having followed Elon Musk, he is not going to be happy. He's already made threats, as Ross is alluding to sort of essentially take his talents elsewhere. And you do wonder if he's faced with a smaller pay package. Well, how much smaller is it going to be? And then it becomes this challenge of keeping Elon Musk motivated, which again is funny because he's getting paid a lot of money one way or the other. And he's also said that Tesla, is his life's work. On the other hand, AI is very hot. He has XAI. There is this threat. So you worry if you're an investor that he's going to take his ball and go home, and that could lead to massive upheaval at Tesla if that were to happen.